Hi, I'm Katie Farrell. I'm an author, a registered nurse, and a mom and wife to some of the pickiest eaters on the planet. People say that eating healthy is bland and boring, but I'm here to show you a better way with wholesome, simple recipes. All of my dishes are stamped with my family's seal of approval. Think you can't eat those brownies and pasta? Think again. I'm here to share my secrets with all of you. Here's what we're cooking today on Dashing Dish. It's tailgating season, which typically doesn't lend itself to the healthiest of foods. But what Sean and the guys don't know is I'm going to be putting a healthy spin on some traditional game day classics. When I think of game day, I think of pizza, dips, and finger food. So today, I will be making a little bit of everything. Layered pizza dip, buffalo chicken bites, and skinny ranch dressing. Let's see if the guys notice. It's game day, and today we're having our friends over to cheer on our favorite teams. So I'm gonna be making some game day eats that are a little bit healthier. I'm gonna start with my skinny layered pizza dip. And when I think of football, I think of two things. I think of pizza and dip. And what I love about this dip is it's only about 60 calories per serving, which is a huge difference considering pizza, which could be anywhere from 500 to 1,000 calories, or dips could be anywhere from 100 to 1,000 calories if you eat enough of them. So this is gonna be a lot lighter, and I also love this dip because it's high in protein. So it takes away that munchy feeling because it fills you up and really satisfies you. I also love it because it's melty and cheesy, just like pizza should be. Football, food, and friends seem to go hand in hand, but the traditional game day food is typically anything but healthy. So today I'm on a mission. With just a few simple swaps, we're gonna remake some of the classics in a nourishing way while still being guy approved. We're also gonna have fun cheering on our favorite teams and think outside the pizza box with many of my recipes. So we're gonna get started with the first layer. I have here some Greek yogurt cream cheese. Now, if you can't find Greek yogurt cream cheese, that's okay. You can use any kind of light or organic cream cheese, and you just wanna get it at room temperature, so softened. And I have 8-ounce package here that's just been softened up. And I like to look particularly for Greek yogurt cream cheese versus just regular because it's a little bit higher in protein and it's a little bit better for you. Then I have 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt. And what I like to do is in any recipe that calls for cream cheese, swap out 1 8-ounce package with 1 cup of Greek yogurt. And that's a great way to save calories and add some protein to the dish. So this Greek yogurt is actually where we're gonna get our protein in this dish. And like I said, what I love is the protein fills you up. So you're not looking for more things to munch on, and it really satisfies you. Then to this, we're gonna add 2 tablespoons of Parmesan cheese. And that gives it that salty, cheesy flavor that you like. You may not know that you like it, but the Parmesan is what you like. And then 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder and 1 teaspoon of Italian seasoning. And I like using Italian seasoning because it's really just a blend of basil and oregano. So you have really all the pizza Italian flavors just mixed right into one seasoning. Then we're gonna add 1 can or jar of pizza sauce. So it's a 15-ounce can. So you could also use any kind of marinara sauce. You could use crushed tomatoes, is delicious in this. And I have to be honest, I am not really a sports fan. I mean, here I am cooking for a sports day, and I'm not one to really sit there and watch the game. But I've learned that sports games can be really fun because it's more about the food and the friends to me, and I love that fellowship and that time with my friends. So really any reason or excuse that I can get together with my friends is an awesome thing for me. So I really enjoy it because even though I'm not cheering on necessarily a team, we live in Michigan, so I'm always cheering on Go Blue, just because I have to. But even though I'm not necessarily cheering on a team, I love to just be with my friends, and usually I pick whatever side my husband's on. So it's fun to just do that and root on his favorite team with him. So I'm gonna pour this into a pie pan, but you could do any 8 or 9-inch baking dish. It doesn't have to be exact as far as the size. And you could give this a really good stir, but I like it to have just kind of the texture. You could also add diced tomatoes in this just for a little more texture. Then we're gonna top it. And this is what really makes it a pizza dip. It has mozzarella cheese on top, so it's gonna get melty and gooey, and it's only 1 cup of cheese. So for this entire recipe, if you have even a 1/4 of the dip, a little bit is gonna go a long way. So we have our mozzarella here, just sprinkle it on top. And the nice thing too about this dip is it has the Parmesan, it has the cream cheese in there, it has the Greek yogurt, so it's gonna be really creamy and flavorful even though there's only 1 cup of cheese. And then this is the fun part, this is my favorite, is the toppings. What I like to do is I like to top it with my personal favorite pizza toppings. So there's pepperoni, there's bell pepper, there's olives, and you might be thinking, pepperoni, that's not healthy. But there's actually really good swaps and choices for pepperoni available today. So what I would look for when you're gonna pick any kind of pepperoni, let's say, is look for organic, look for nitrate-free, non-cured. Those are all really good terms to look for because it just means that it's not filled with all of the GMOs and all of the other preservatives and junk. So that's something good to look for. Also, turkey pepperoni is a lighter option. So turkey pepperoni is a lot lower in calories than traditional pepperoni and a lot less fat too. So they taste just as great. I give turkey pepperoni to Maddie and Sean on their pizza. They don't even know the difference, and trust me, Sean is a pizza connoisseur, so he would know if something was altered there. And so all you want to do is you want to take a 1/4 cup of turkey pepperoni, and then you want to stack them because that makes it really easy. It's just to stack them and then cut them once and then turn them and give them 1 more cut down the middle. Or you could sit there and dice each one, but I mean, this is way quicker. And then we're going to top our pizza dip. And this is where kind of all the layers come in. Because you got your base layer, you have your cheese, and then you have your pizza toppings. And you can see how good that already looks. I mean, I could eat it like this. You could eat it like this, but trust me, it's better baked. And then we have some black sliced olives, and this is just a 4-ounce can of black sliced olives. So really simple. And that's what I like on my pizza. I would also put broccoli on this because I love broccoli, but I have a feeling that the guys won't love broccoli as much as I do. And this is for guys. And I don't know what it is, but when you think about game day food, you typically just think of junk food. That's like your automatic thought, right? You just think it's junk food, it's guy food, they're not gonna like anything healthy. But the great thing is I don't know any guy that wouldn't eat a pizza dip that looks like this. Now, again, this is all according to your preference with toppings, but here I have a green bell pepper, and that's something that I think most people like on their pizza as well. So we're gonna top it with just a little bit of diced green pepper. To cut that, you can see I just cut the top off and then got the stem out, and then I got the seeds right out when I just pulled it out. So that's a really easy way of cutting a pepper. Then you cut it in half so you have a stable base, and you cut it each piece down the middle. Now I'm gonna dice up just one of these slices because I don't want it to be overly done up in green bell pepper. So we're just gonna do just a little bit here. And what I also would like to do is to do something like mushrooms or pineapple. Really, the sky's the limit as far as toppings for this. But like I said, since we're making it for friends, it's not about me. We're gonna try and make it a crowd pleaser for everybody and just kind of go light and be a little bit safe with the toppings. So we're gonna do our green bell pepper on there, and that looks perfect. And then we're gonna pop this in the oven. It's gonna bake at 425 degrees for about 25 to 30 minutes. And when we come back, Emily's gonna join me and we're gonna make a really delicious buffalo chicken appetizer that's sure to score big with the guys. Part of the enjoyment of game day food is the fact that it can be eaten while cheering on your favorite team. This is why having finger foods, bite-sized treats, and dips are great to have on hand. Instead of greasy chips, I like to serve my dips with an array of colorful vegetables. Things like carrots, celery, bell peppers, you name it. You can even get creative and roast them up to make crispy sweet potato chips. My sister Emily is going to be joining me in the kitchen in just a little bit. But first we're going to start by making a buffalo chicken appetizer with a different spin and a clean eating ranch dip to go along with it. So to start, I'm going to make the filling for these buffalo chicken bites. And all I have here is 2 cups of shredded cooked chicken. So you could do your leftover chicken from a rotisserie chicken, you could do shredded crock pot chicken, however you like to get cooked shredded chicken. 1/4 cup of hot sauce. You can do your favorite buffalo or wing sauce for this. 1/2 cup of cream cheese, and I like to use Greek yogurt cream cheese just because it's higher in protein and it's a little bit better for you, but you could also use a lower fat cream cheese for this recipe. You don't want to use Greek yogurt. I like to swap it out wherever I can, but for this one, the thicker cream cheese is a little bit better than the Greek yogurt. It just doesn't seep out the sides of these bites, and I'll explain what the bites actually are in just a moment. I know you're getting excited. And then we have a 1/2 cup of cheese that we're going to add to the filling. And then the rest of the cheese, we have 1 cup in this recipe, we're just going to sprinkle on top. So we're going to stir this all up, and it already looks delicious, like you could already eat it with just some baked chips or some veggies. But we're going to fill some of my favorite little things to have for appetizers, which is these wonton wrappers. And what I love about wonton wrappers, and this is what makes it a bite, is they're just really tiny. You can find them at any grocery store next to usually the egg roll wrappers. You could also use egg roll wrappers for this. They're just gonna be a little bit bigger. And what I love about these for any kind of appetizer is they're just 20 calories each. So really you can be creative and you can fill them with whatever you'd like. So if you think, you know, oh, I'd really love some kind of pizza appetizer, say. I actually have a recipe for pizza bites on Dashing Dish that you just fill with pizza sauce, a little bit of pepperoni, some cheese, and you just wrap them up and they're good to go for an appetizer. So I like to keep those in my fridge for whenever I have any kind of gathering because like I said, you can really be creative and it's really easy to make a fun appetizer that everyone will enjoy. So I'm just stirring up this filling until it's well combined. That looks good there. And now I'm going to show you how to use the wonton wrappers. So you just take a clean surface and you lay them down. I like to just have them on a plate. You don't want to leave them out exposed in the air for too long or they'll start to get hard. So you can just cover them with a paper towel while you're making your filling. So you just lay it down on a clean surface and have a small bowl of water that you can dip your finger in nearby. That'll act as the glue that will seal this wonton wrapper shut. So I'm going to take just a tablespoon of the filling. You don't want to use too much. That's really important. Just enough to kind of fill it, but if you use too much, it'll seep out the sides. And that's also why I mentioned don't use Greek yogurt. You don't want this filling to be too liquidy because the more liquidy it is, it will seep out the sides when it's baking. So you want it to be nice and thick. So we have about a tablespoon of filling in there, and you'll want to keep a rag nearby too. And then just dip your finger in water and then trace it along 2 corners of the wonton wrapper. And then you just fold it over. And this is fun to do. And it's fun to do with kids too. I've had kids make my pizza bites that are like this, and it's really fun. So then you just seal it shut with your fingers, just like that. And then you place it on a baking sheet pan that's lined with parchment paper. I always like to line my sheet pans with parchment paper or a baking mat just so it's less dishes to clean up. You just pick it up, throw it away when you're done. So you line the pan with parchment paper and then you just put them in single file when you complete them. Growing up, I was often teased when participating in athletic events, and the hurtful words that were spoken eventually became a self-fulfilling prophecy. I refused to participate in sports or even fun athletic events such as beach volleyball because the belief that I would embarrass myself or fail miserably. It wasn't until I was in college that I realized how powerful my thoughts were, and I decided to change my mindset. It didn't happen overnight, but I started to believe that I could do anything I set my mind to. I started trying new things such as group exercise classes, and it was then that I discovered enjoyable ways of moving my body outside of the traditional sports. And although I can't say that I've taken up football in my spare time, I won't let limiting beliefs stop me from trying new things. I now know that in Christ, I can accomplish anything I put my mind to, and I'm okay with being exactly who God created me to be. So I'm gonna have my sister join me, and she's gonna be making these for me while I make the ranch dip for these buffalo chicken bites. Hey, Em.
Hey, I was just watching the game, trying to learn football.
Yeah, we're both not really into sports, but I think that that's probably because we come from a family of 3 girls, and my dad really didn't play sports, so I don't know if we really had any sports influence except for our husbands now. Now that my dad is one of the guys with our husbands, he watches sports more, but we were never really around him. So
what are you making?
We're making a buffalo chicken bite today, and we're gonna make some ranch dipping sauce to go with these. So I just have some wonton wrappers here, and then I have some filling. And all you do is you put about a tablespoon. You could use an ice cream scoop if that's easier, or just the tablespoon like this, and just put a little bit in the center, just about a tablespoon. You'll want to definitely have this rag because it gets messy, and then just dip your finger in the water and trace along 2 of the corners and then fold it over. And then you just kind of tuck it in.
Those are so fun to make.
And then you just seal it shut with your fingers, and then you just put it right there. And this will get really filled up. We have 24 wrappers to fill, but we don't have to do them all. We can just even save some of this for later.
I can do
but
that.
Just as many as you want to do, as many as can fit, you can do another row there. So now to go with these buffalo chicken bites, I'm gonna get started on a clean eating ranch dip. And this dip goes great with these buffalo chicken bites, or really anywhere that you would use ranch. So sometimes I make it just to dip carrots in, and I promise you it's so easy and delicious, you'll never buy store-bought ranch again. And what I love about this is even if you find a lighter version of ranch or an organic ranch, a lot of times there's still a lot of calories and fillers. This ranch is 20 calories per serving, and you can't beat that. And it's packed with protein. So I have 1 cup of plain Greek yogurt here that I'm gonna add to a bowl. And I love Greek yogurt, like I said, because it's high in protein. It also lessens the calories, usually in any dish that you're adding it to, because it is really low in calories. Then I have a 1/2 cup of buttermilk here. And the great thing about buttermilk is you can actually make it at home. So a lot of times this is something that you typically don't have in your fridge. You can just make your own by adding 1 tablespoon of lemon juice or vinegar to 1 cup of milk, and just let it sit in your fridge overnight. And that acidity of the vinegar or the lemon juice breaks down the milk a little bit so that it's like buttermilk. So yeah. Fun fact. So I'm just gonna start by adding just a little bit of this buttermilk. I'm not gonna add the whole thing, just because I wanna figure out how thick I want this ranch to be. But we have a 1/2 cup here to work with. And so you can add more or less according to your personal taste. If you want it to be a really thin dressing, you can add a little bit more, a little bit less if you want it to be thick. Since this is a dip that we'll be dipping these buffalo chicken bites, I want it to be a little bit on the thicker side. Then to this, we're gonna add 1 tablespoon of white vinegar. And again, that vinegar is just what you would expect to taste in ranch. It's kind of that bite to it. That's the white vinegar in there. And then we're gonna add some parsley. We have 1 tablespoon of dried parsley, and I like fresh parsley. I don't know, do you keep herbs at home? No. I don't think most people keep fresh herbs at home unless you're dashing dish, and you top everything with fresh parsley. So if you don't have it, we have dried parsley here. 1 tablespoon works great. And the great thing about spices is I love adding spices to different foods because you can add a lot of flavor without any calories or any additives or fillers. And then we have a 1/4 teaspoon of salt. And this is just to your taste, so you might want to do a little less, a little more at the end. And then a 1/2 teaspoon of garlic powder. And then we have some dried dill here. Now, dried dill is definitely what you expect to taste in a ranch. You might not even know that it's in there, but you could also do fresh dill as well. I actually, for this recipe, because it's a dressing, I love buying fresh dill. But for this recipe, we have dried because it's what we have on hand. So we have a 1/2 teaspoon of dried dill. We're gonna add that in, and then we're just gonna stir it up and then see if it needs a little more buttermilk. And how's that going over there?
This is good. I'm getting hungry.
Yeah, looks good, huh? Now, when these bake up, they'll get nice and golden brown, so you don't even need to top them with anything. but we will be topping them with the rest of that cheese over there,
yeah.
just so it has that nice cheesy finish. They get really crispy, and the great thing is you don't have to fry them. So just baking them is gonna give it that same taste and that same feel as frying them. And I like to spray them with some cooking spray. We have some cooking spray just before we pop them in the oven, because just that little bit of sprayed oil on there will help them kind of crisp up as well and get that brown top. So you can see how good this ranch is looking here. Yeah, and I don't even think I'm gonna add any more buttermilk. I think it looks pretty good. And then I'm just gonna put it into a cute bowl, because that's important. That's important to the women of the game,
That's right.
Right?
It's all about the
really good,
presentation. Thanks.
You wanna give this a little try?
Oh, sure.
All right, so you could fill
Very
a whole nother baking sheet pan and do the rest of these, but we're just gonna start with these. Maybe a little bit later we could, fill another pan and make some. They only take 10 to 15 minutes to bake at 425 degrees, so incredibly easy as far as, baking time. Actually, what I like to do a lot of times is make these the night before, because you can see the actual process of making them is a little bit longer. So I make them the night before a lot of times. I stick them on a sheet pan in my fridge. I just cover it with saran wrap, and then I bake it when everybody gets here. But what I love about this recipe and the pizza dip is you can make both the night before the game, and that way you can really be in on the game with your friends, chatting. You can stick them in the oven, and they both bake at 400 to 425 degrees. And you just pull them out, and then there you go. You have fresh, delicious appetizers that are healthy too. So I think the guys will love these. You can go ahead and top it with cheese, spray it with a little bit of cooking spray just before you pop them in the oven, and they'll be delicious. And then we can serve them with our ranch.
Fried.
I know. And the great thing is too, they're high in protein, like I said, low in calories. Each of these are only 45 calories.
Wow.
So I mean, you could eat the whole tray since you're pregnant.
Yeah, don't tell a pregnant woman that she can eat the whole tray, because she might do that.
But this is just a really healthy spin on traditional game day eats. We have some healthy ranch, we have buffalo chicken bites, we have pizza dip, we have all the things that the guys would love and expect to see at the big game, and they won't even know it's better for them.
I'm excited.
All right.
I'm here for the food.
I think we should go check on the guys, pop this in the oven, and see how the game's looking.
Yeah.
The book of Hebrews compares our lives to that of a race we are running for Christ. Just like an athlete, we have to make the choice to run with purpose, which includes caring for our physical bodies so we can have the endurance needed to remain strong to the end. Well, as you can see, these recipes have been thoroughly enjoyed today, and there's nothing that I love more than reasons to get together with good friends and eat good food. For these recipes and more just like it, head over to dashingdish.com.